Welcome to turning a moment into a movement.
This little light of mine, I'm gon' let it shine. I'm gon' let it shine. This little light of mine, this little light of mine, I'm gon' let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gon' let it shine. I'm gon' let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gon' let it shine. I'm gon' let it shine. Oh Lord, just let it shine. This light of mine, this light of mine. Oh Lord, would you please just let it shine. Take the drama out of my life. Oh Lord, every night, the pain ain't right. I wake up at night, I never sleep. 26, 10, and 7, that's just me. Every day I need a little seed. I need a little fresh air, man, I need to breathe. All I know is trauma, all I know is tickets. All I know is no visit, all I know is a mission to get straight up out of prison. Lord have mercy for it. Lord have mercy on my people. Preacher Mary Washington and all my real. Lord have mercy with my people. I pray to God, we really need you. When I was down bad, when things weren't going right, every time I prayed at night, I put my hands up in my face. I said, Lord have mercy, little light of mine. Lord God, please let it shine. It's the drama that I live in my life. I swear to God, I was a bad guy every night. 10 toes down, salute. Everybody suffering, everybody who trying to make a way. Everybody looking for the sky, everybody looking for that piece of pie. In a law library, I know what that feel like. Hoping that somebody get active and involved in your situation. Man, pop your collar and pray. Cause Lord have mercy on my soul. And they make bad guy father get out soon. And the rest of those brothers who be mobbing to child each morning. Oh man, I ain't going to this afternoon. Man, I'ma miss dinner today. I got a couple of noodles. You know what that feel like? Do you know what it is? And if you a victim of a wrongful conviction, suffered and served by Ken Worthy, then I know that you know what that pain feel like. And your mama know what that pain feel like. Your father know what that pain feel like. With that light, let that little shine. Let that light shine, a little light of mine. Bad guy, doughboy weak, all these great people in this great world of ours. 10 toes down, salute. I appreciate you, bad guy. I appreciate you, weak. I appreciate the tech. I appreciate everybody in the studio. We gon' pop off that LV. Ooh-wee. Cause that's what they be liking to see. But I hope you hear the missing when you see me fresh. Salute.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us, or joining me, tonight on Turning a Moment into a Movement. I am J Love, and welcome. I also represent the Justice for Gerard movement. Gerard is my son, who was wrongly convicted of a crime that he didn't do. Innocent, and he went to prison for that crime. And because of that journey with Gerard and all the people that I met on the journey, we created this platform called Turning a Moment into a Movement, so we could come here to educate. Our mission is to bring awareness to all that are impacted from being wrongly convicted, overly sentenced, mentally ill, and medically fail in our community, to inspire, organize, and educate all communities about the needs to disrupt systems, policies, and patterns of the criminal legal system that leads to wrongful convictions. And that's why we're here every Friday at 8:30. Before we get started, I want to say to all of those that's watching on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and for those who are going to listen to us later, welcome and thank you for joining us tonight. We have a really great conversation that we're going to have tonight. Healing Black Hurt: Essential Steps for Achieving Black Liberation. with our guest, who is not a guest, Reverend Tia, who's going to lead us in the conversation tonight. But before we get started, um, I want to say hi to Mr. Dr. Clay. Hey, Dr. Clay, how are you? Dr. Clay, first of all, thank you for supporting us. And you guys check out Dr. Clay on Facebook. He has Wind Down Wednesdays on Facebook, and I think also on YouTube. And they discuss all the current topics and important topics. So yeah, join Dr. Clay. He's going to be back with us here on Turn a Moment into a Moment soon. So yeah. So before we get started, I just want to thank you guys for supporting Crystal. I talk to her every day, 2-3 times a day, possibly. But I want to thank you guys for supporting her, but we still need to continue the push. We still need you to write the governor, call the governor. We still need you to send a letter or email to Gretchen Whitmore and let her know that you support Crystal and you want to know what's taking her so long to request for her medical clemency. We need Crystal home. She needs to be in the hospital. Even when I talked to her this morning, she was in so much pain, but she pushes herself because of all of us who are pushing to support her. So continue to support Crystal. And I'm going to bring on Trisha. Hey, Trisha.
Hey Jay, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I just wanted to just talk about Crystal for a minute.
Yeah. You know, that's just it. I'm tired of talking about it. I need us to be about it, right? And when I say us, I mean our elected officials that have the power to do something. Now, I want to strongly thank those that have been trying to battle this beast. You know, the number one person that needs to be doing something, which is Gretchen, Big Gretch, as she likes to call herself, she's not doing anything. So, I mean, she has the power to release Crystal. She has the power to govern over MDOC in that situation and what's going on. And she likes to just keep making TikToks all day. If I see another TikTok where she laughing and joking and playing as if Crystal's life is not on the line, I don't know if people really know what it feels like to literally fight for somebody's life. It's no game. It's no joke. It's no easy thing, but it's so necessary.
Yeah.
And if it was you, you would want somebody fighting for you too.
Yeah. It's hard for me to sleep at night knowing all the things that's going on with Crystal.
Yeah.
So for these people to know and still drag their feet and still, like you said, making TikToks and just going on with life like nothing is important or matters. It's a hurtful feeling, especially to Crystal and her family. I didn't show this video yesterday, last week, but I want to show the video of Crystal's sister.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just 1 second. Let me put
Heartbreaking.
Hey everybody, this is Tyronda Clark, Crystal Clark's sister. My sister is locked up here at Women's Huron Valley facility in Ypsilanti, Michigan. My sister, my mother, we're here visiting her today. I can say that we did have a great visit. However, Crystal is in desperate need of serious medical attention. We are asking that everybody please continue to fight for her, to please continue to reach out to the governor to pray for her. She sends her support and says thank you to everybody. She's trying to stay in great spirits. It's just heartbreaking. We can see, the mole growing out of her ears. Her ears are like almost closed. We're just asking that you all just please continue to help, continue to pray, and to continue to just fight for her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Continue. It's not, I just want to say this. It's not normal for mold to grow out your ears. That's not a normal occurrence. That's years and years and years being exposed to mold. It's in her throat. It's in her lungs. Her neck is swollen. Her face is swollen. And she's in a lot of pain. And so we're just asking for those who are listening to continue to reach out to the governor, to continue writing the letters. Again, a call to action. You have the power to save a life. Contact the governor's office, send an email or a letter to support Crystal's request for medical clemency. The address is right here. The Office of Governor, State of Michigan, George W. Romney, Romeny. I'm spelling this just in case for those who are listening. The address is 111 S Capitol Avenue, Lansing, Michigan 48909, or email gretchen.whitmer@michigan.gov. And just continue to support Crystal. Go to her link tree. We have a link tree for Crystal. You can go there to this link tree, Fighting for Crystal, and you'll find all the information for those who just need to know more information. Go to the link tree. There's also a link there where you can financially support Crystal. She needs so much. If we had to get her to the outside doctor, if they approve it, then we have to pay for that. Crystal has to pay for that. So we're trying to raise funds if that happens to get her to an outside doctor. So again, this is the link tree, and we're just calling you guys to help us save Crystal. I'm gonna bring in Reverend Tia, who is leading the conversation tonight. Hey, Reverend Tia.
Well, hello there. I'm in a college student's graduate's room right now. So I'm coming to you from college. No, I'm not personally in college, but I am here, and I'm so glad to see you, Jay. I'm so glad to be on tonight. I'm telling you, Crystal has been on my mind and in my heart, and I'm so glad you started with this because we can't stop talking about it because it's necessary, and we really need to make a difference. We need to make a difference.
Mhm.
And and we can make a difference, and I believe we're making a difference, and I believe that we are now at the pinnacle of making something happen because finally some people are responding, as far as legislatures. They're responding, some of them. But the thing is, when it comes to, and we're talking about Black hurt today, Crystal's hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal's hurting. And there are others like Crystal that are hurting as well. And so what we want to do is really look at how is our community responding today? And how come some of us don't respond? And some of us don't respond because we feel it's not us, because we may not know the person. How many people, and I ask these questions all the time, how many people have relatives who are behind bars, and how many of you actually go to visit them?
Yeah.
I'm just asking. And there's many of us um, who have experienced wrongful convictions. We have experienced overly sentenced, and our loved ones are behind bars.
Mhm.
Why don't we go visit them? And when, and that alone tells you that sometimes we don't want to feel the pain, Jay. We don't want to feel what's happening. We don't want to know what's happening. And that's what this conversation is about tonight. So I'm coming
Yeah.
to you from the Choice Zone, where we, at the Choice Zone, your choice matters. And we do life coaching skills. I do domestic violence counseling and all types of counseling. The main thing is helping people reach their goals and dreams. And what does that mean? That means I demonstrate that you have a power inside of you that's greater than anything that's going on in this world. And
Yeah.
so we can, as a community, change what's happening. So I'm going to, Jay, I want to start off with one of the clips, if possible, that kind of
Okay.
gives the background of the trauma that we've gone through um, by Joy.
Which one was that, Reverend?
With the one about post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Okay. Just 1 second.
Okay. Because I think giving that as a context so they can understand that we're not just pulling this topic out of the air. This is what a lot of people are experiencing.
Mm-hmm. That's the one, Reverend?
Yes.
All right. Just 1 second.
I am Dr. Joy DeGrew, and we are playing Is It Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome or Not?
The current gender war between Black men and Black women.
I'm very hesitant to, that's going to be one where I think that we have a lot of stuff that came out of enslavement. And again, there's been a lot written about the fact that during slavery, the position of men was one where they could not protect their families, their wives or their children. And that kind of led to an avoidance, right? And pain and humiliation. And so how much love, how much vulnerability are you going to have when the person you love the most can be just taken from you or given to someone else the next day? So I think that's real. But I also think that we have bought into some of the social ills that are already here around materialism, what manhood is, what beauty is, what the expectation is in terms of, what I believe or as a woman or what a man believes he should do or be, how much money you're supposed to have, the level of education. I mean, that is somehow embroiled in America itself. So I would say that toxicity is already there. And with the history of trauma and the history of harm, yeah, I think it exacerbates it.
The wealth gap.
The wealth gap was built in following slavery. Following slavery, Black people were never introduced equally or justly into the economic possibilities of America. We had to create it for ourselves, and it has never, ever been parity or just. I am Dr. Joy DeGrew, and we are playing Is It Post-Traumatic Slave?
We're back.
Okay. So you know what she talks in that particular one. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, JF Clay. That it's a sunken place. This is true. Well, why didn't you pop on, Clay? Why didn't you pop on today? Send him the link, Jay. So we got to know that it filtrates through every area of our living and being. If we just take a moment and think about your experience, if you are a person of color, what you've gone through ever since you were born. Every moment, every part of your life was centered around this extra layer of, I can't even say red tape, but this extra that we have to work harder. This extra layer of efforting that we have to do every single day of our lives just because of the color of our skin. And you got to know that there is an importance. There's a reason why. Why do various cultures work so hard to eliminate original people? Think about it. What are they trying to hide? What do they not want you to know about you? Why are we the only ones who had to surrender our language and our culture and our customs? To the point of, if you did attempt to speak your language, you would be killed. What is it about us? What is it about you? I had a minister tell me, one of my, I call my father in the gospel, said years ago, you're color coded for a purpose. What's that purpose? What is that purpose? Yes, the economic system was not built for us. There was nothing that was originally built for us. When they first put the Constitution together here in these United States, that was not for us. Yet everything that we look at is symbolic of us. It reminds us of who we are. Even when you look at the Statue of Liberty, that's a Black woman, chains on her feet. They tried to change it so that we couldn't know that she was. So we want to heal. We're talking about healing today. So the first thing is we need to explore historical trauma, the systemic racism, generational pain, and internalized oppression. And Dr. Joy has another clip, Jay, if you could play that, of her just kind of defining post-traumatic slave syndrome. And what she does is she tells you that we've had generations of pain.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome is an explanatory theory that really looks at multi-generational trauma. One of the things that's difficult for people is their first response is, oh my God, that happened so long ago. We're talking about people being captured, shipped, sold, beaten, raped, experimented on. And then you have to ask the question, did the trauma continue? Yes. Post-traumatic slave syndrome is an explanatory theory that really looks at multi-generational trauma. One of the things that's difficult for people is their first response is, oh my God, that happened so long ago. We're talking about people being captured, shipped, sold, beaten, raped, experimented on. And then you have to ask the question, did the trauma continue? Yes.
I think the big question, Trisha, is like, did the trauma continue? Did the trauma continue?
Yeah. It was, as we were talking earlier, I want to say the saddest thing to me about all of this is there are those of us that can't even acknowledge it. There are those of us that say, oh, that was, you better, well, I did this and I did that and blah, 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 blah. And so if our own people will deny our pain, what do we think it does? It perpetuates racism. It perpetuates privilege. Then they'll be like, well, Johnny said that that's not racism. Well, Johnny's a dumbass. Excuse my French. Right? Like, when will we understand that it's okay to say we're not okay, or that we have had this pain to be passed down through generations, is that we still deal with it as a people? I don't see what's so wrong with acknowledging that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And I think some people are afraid to acknowledge it. And some people, like you said, they're just kind of blindly going through as if it's like if I ignore it, it'll disappear. It'll go away. It'll go away if I ignore it. If I change my attitude, then it's not going to follow me. And we've, you know,
That's called for
and
if
you'll
I
hear.
assimilate into
Go ahead.
white. If I assimilate deeper into whiteness, then
Yeah.
I'll be all right, right? That's exactly what it is. Is that our ability to be able to fully assimilate and totally lose sight of who we are and whose we are.
Yes. 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 And, you know, not too long ago, I heard someone say they were trying to explain why they supported this most recent administration, and she said, "Well, it was because my husband is a police officer, and he stands for the police." And while that may be true, what racism, discrimination, slavery, and all of these things have done was to separate people. And to, in so many words or less, as long as my house is okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Forget anybody else. Forget everybody else who may have been hurt, who may have been killed. Forget the cause. As long as I'm okay. And so it really takes away from the collectiveness and collaboration that at one time we had. Because people will say, well, all the other cultures, they support one another. They're together. Well, why can't we do it? Or that's why. Then we just settle that, okay, well, they're going to be together and we're not. Well, no. Know the reason why. Know why there's a separation. Know why there's pain. Know why um know why the people cannot come together. It's not that they cannot come, it's because they refuse to come. And why do they refuse to come? And again, because they want to continue their life as if that is the end all, until collective action then comes towards us as a people. Come on now. We got to ask ourselves why.
You know,
So, oh, go ahead, Jay.
you reminded me of a conversation I had with a person when Gerard, I was going through advocating for Gerard, and the person said, you know, I see you and I hear you, but I just can't take it in because I don't want to bring that negativity to my house or to my son. So I just don't say anything. And I was just like, okay. I was like shocked that the person said that. But they was being honest about, you know, how they felt. They didn't want to draw that into their their family or whatever. But my thing is, this is not only happening to me, it's happening to everybody. And even if it's not happening to you personally, on some level, it is happening to you. So it is happening to your son. It is happening to your daughter. You know, it might not be right now.
Right.
It might not be today, but it's happening. You know, it might not be as extreme as it was for Gerard, but some way your kid is getting discriminated against. Some way your kid is getting, you know, wrongly convicted on some other level. And it's happening every day to everybody. And the thing, people, when they say, well, I don't want it to happen to me, or I don't want to bring that energy to me, you're living in a in a bubble, because it's happening to us every single day on some kind of level. And the longer that we don't speak up, the longer that we don't, the less we stand together, the less we support each other, it can happen to you. It can happen to you.
Yeah.
There's no makeup, or there's no, you know, profile for this. It's anybody at any time. And so when we talk about hurt and we talk about black pain, it's because it's in our DNA, because of all the things, our history, and all the things that we have gone through. So the energy is there. Whether you think about it, whether you support it, whether you don't, it is there. So what we do? We continue to ignore it. You know, we had all the stuff that happened this week. A mistrial, a not guilty verdict, a father that just, you know, lost his mind and ran over the first police officer he saw. And all of these things happening is because of us, of where we are or not when it comes to standing up for justice.
Yeah, and it's going to continue because we have the perception of those who are in leadership who are, and just, I'm just going to throw this out. Case in point, I have a very dear friend, like a sister to me. I call her my sister. And we grew up together. She started a new job. And on the first day, and she's in management, she goes in, she's happy, she's a very pleasant person. And she of course meets with her supervisor. And she's happy to see her supervisor. And she says, well, I'm checking in. Where would you like for me to do first? And on her first day, this is in a very ritzy area, her supervisor, who happened to be a Caucasian sister, said, right now, I want you to take your black ass over there and do such and such. 2025. Now, if anybody knew my sister, I'm not going to say her name, because if y'all knew her, there was a time, had somebody told her that, the floor would have been mopped with that whole woman's face. But that did not happen, because when I heard about it, I thought I was going to have to start collecting some money for bail. But you know what she did? She took off the uniform, which was like a smock, like a apron like. She folded up, put it on the desk. She turned and left. Now, I wanted to immediately, and still will probably, I want to write this letter. I want to blast this woman. I want to blast her name. I want everybody to know her view. and that and I want the company to know that with her as she's at the helm of this company. And so this happened just last week. Just last week. And you know what? There's no law right now to protect some of us from that type of harassment. Is that still harassment? Is it?
Sounds pretty
Is that
harassing.
okay? In your company, is that okay?
Right.
So, what does our liberation look like? What is it going to look like as a liberated person? Well, first, it's going to look like self-determination and autonomy. It's going to look like we controlling our communities. It's going to look like that woman will not be supervising us. That's what I'm saying. We need to have autonomy, and I hope everybody is listening to me. We need to have autonomy definitely over our schools, over our communities. We need to be running our schools, and we need to stop calling them institutions, and we need to go back and really figure out what does educate really mean. It means educar. It means to draw out of the true purpose and intent that's within our children. Not to beat them, not to institute corporal punishment. My suggestion, teachers, please do not hit on these children. Even though there was an executive order, some parents are not going to care. I'm just giving some advice. It means we have control over our schools, businesses, media, healthcare, and political structures. Where are we now? Who have you connected with? How do we take back our communities? How do we take back our schools? And yes, I say take back because who started education? We did. That would be us. Look it up. See where the first university was. See who came to learn at our universities. It means us having control over what is ours. Stop giving away your children. I'm talking to us. I'm talking about letting anybody and everybody take care of your child because you want to go out. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about really looking at how do I care for, how can I maximize the gift of God inside my child? What's the calling? Who asked the question, why did God send you to me? If you are responsible for a child right now, consider that God's call on your life, that you answered and you said yes. Because whether you wanted to or not, the child is here. Adoptions and letting go of children is very high right now. I'm talking to us. I'm talking about what I know and experience on a daily. We're giving up our children. We're giving up our children because of things. Who's your God? Who is your God? Some people say, well, I don't worship anything. I don't go to church. I don't believe anything, and you believe something, whether you say it or not, whether you sit up and say, oh, I don't practice anything. Oh, you practicing. Some of us are practicing things that we don't need to be practicing. We're practicing things in a lifestyle that does not help our community, but you practicing. And you are worshiping an idol. Well, who's your idol? What is it? What do you buy that's your idol? What do you follow that's your idol? What are you bringing into the home and into the community that's your idol? How are you treating people? We have to ask ourselves these questions because it is time. It is time that we have our self-determination. It's time for us. We have a right to define our values, our identity, and cultural practice. We have a right to that. So many of us, many times, will just assimilate into what everybody else is doing, but anybody else is doing. And we've come to hate ourselves. Some of us have been so colonized that we hate ourselves as much as some of the other people hate us. You see children on a daily, you know what they do, Jay? They have a colorist conversation today. Today, Trisha. Today, they still going around trying to call each other, well, you too light and you too black, you too dark. Today. What does that mean? Hey, Dr. J.F. Clay, what does that
Greetings,
mean?
friends.
I'm
Can you
so
guys
glad
hear
to
me?
see you.
Hey, it's great being on with you guys, man. Amazing sessions all the time. Content, which is what I like to look for. Great content. I don't like out here playing. Hey, I like when we get at it. Let's go and get at it. I like what T
That's
say,
right.
hey, we don't want to talk about it, but we're going to get at it. I like that. That's what's up.
Yes, yes. So, you know what I was saying was that the homes, they're not teaching at home because I couldn't go and have that conversation at a school and Cecilia Wallace find out. Oh, it was going to be, it's going to be, I'm going to be in some deep trouble. We still, these children. Go ahead, Trisha. OJ.
I was going to say some of these conversations, though, they are having at home. They're hearing it at home. And so what you're seeing is a reflection of what's going on at home. You know, kids are like sponges. You know, they just soak up everything that's in their orbit. And then, you know, they come to school or they, you know, come around other people and they just put out what they have heard or seen. And so it's not only the children, it's the environment that the children are in. Like people are at an all-time low, you know. And so when we talk about this Black healing Black hurt or Black hurt period, you know, people are so hurt and so low, they're just operating on a low vibration. You know, look what we had going on this week. Hold on, you guys. This week,
On behalf of the Hinton family and myself, prayers to the Hinton family, prayers to the family of Larry Henderson, the fallen deputy, and I thank the court for having a fair assembly in the courtroom today. With that, I'd like to ask you a few questions, not a lot, okay? Do you know the mental history of Mr. Hinton?
No, I do not know detailed mental history.
Right. Do you know whether or not he's had any medically documented infirmities or conditions? Do you know that? You don't, do you?
No, I do not.
You also don't know his state of mind at the time of the incident near Burnham Woods and Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. You don't know that either, do you? You think he intentionally did it?
And the evidence, yes.
Yeah. Are you familiar with acts of someone that is not in their right mind when they commit a criminal act? You object to that? Okay. You don't know whether or not he was in his right mind at the time that he encountered Deputy Henderson.
I'll object again, Your Honor.
Well,
asked and answered a couple times.
It's a different question. Judge, one of the factors with respect to the Ohio Revised Code in detaining a person with no bond is his mental condition. And in making that opinion about whether or not it's intentional, you need to know the mindset or the mens rea of the person that you're claiming intended to do this. Was he in his right mind? That's relevant with respect to your bond determination.
Sustaining the objection.
I'm not saying that my client didn't try to intend to do this. That's not my position. One more question. You don't know his mindset at the time he tried to do it.
Like I stated previously, with the facts and circumstances surrounding it, him leaving our office, he was emotionally distraught, and they were concerned about him driving.
No further questions, Judge. I would like you. I want to make certain that this young man is treated as a mentally ill person and not as a cop killer. I don't think he was a cop killer. I think he was not in his right mind, and I think he should be treated like any other mentally ill person that commits a crime under the auspices, control, and authority of a mental defect in a condition. That's what we have in this case. Strong family ties. His family retained me. He lives with his significant other and his children. There is a giant mental health issue, and I would ask that whatever bond, whether it's a no bond or a monetary bond, I would ask that it be coupled with or inclusive of a requirement that he have mental health treatment. I was physically present with the defendant over the weekend. I think he has mental issues. I think the conduct in question is classic mental illness criminal conduct. It's always intentional, it's bold, and it's conspicuous. No intent to hide what they did because they think that what they're doing is right, and they think that what they're doing is right because they're not in their right frame of mind.
Yeah.
So when we look at that, I was talking to someone who lives in Ohio, and they were saying that Ohio just passed qualified immunity. So qualified immunity, and knowing that qualified immunity is a thing, and we live under it here in Michigan. The father left identifying his son, knowing that he'd never get justice for his kid. Mentally, that's devastating.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm not saying anything about what he did. I'm just saying from a place of hurt and pain is devastating. Go ahead, Robert T.
Yeah, and you can't know. You can't know what that feels like. And I think, when you think about the word taken comes to mind. I know the movie was out years back. And the cartel or whatever, they just come and took one of the actor's family members, When you think about African American history, then you realize that we've had over 400 years of just being taken. Not just taken from off of the land or taken from, homes taken from, businesses taken from us, taken. They're constantly taking from us, renaming, taking our history, trying to destroy the knowledge of who we are, taking constantly from us. Think about it. You name it, they take it. Who knew Beethoven was a black man? I'll wait. It was taken. When you really think about it, years, years, and it's to the point where I'm thinking, after 400 years, are you like deranged? Are you mentally incapable of really being a human and having care for humanity when you never stop your behavior? Go ahead, Dr. Clay.
No, that's true. I was just making sure you guys can hear me because mine's buffering over here. But I'm not sure if you guys heard what Dr. Small said. Dr. Small said that we have a responsibility. And I know we want to be responsible in our conversations. And when we're having these conversations, we want to make sure that it's applicable to, of course, these social media platforms that we're on. But what Dr. Small was saying, that we have an obligation that if someone is going to take the life of our children or our loved ones, then we have an obligation to revenge them. And he was talking along the similar lines as Reverend Tia. It's speaking of how long are we going to have this tyranny that you're just allowed to get away with this. And then it's sort of like you're laughing in our face. Like it's funny. It's ha ha ha. But we're having these conversations and talking about it. And these conversations, our homes, and letting them know, hey, listen, could possibly happen. So make sure this, definitely not being insensitive if someone else's life was taken. That's not what we're saying. But what we're identifying is the fact that how long are you going to continue to impose this upon us and then expect us not to respond? Now, as his lawyer was speaking, I thought he did a pretty good job because he's very outspoken and emotional about it, because that's what you need to see, that kind of energy, so that you can see that, hey man, we're tired of this. Look, stop doing this to us. Now, you don't know what type of duress that this brother was under after seeing what he just saw. You don't know how that's going to orientate in his mind. And so as a result of that, yes, we want to presume the defense of mental inaptness or mental illness at the particular time, that there was something mentally that was going on, that was happening, that, hey, that could not be. And so this is very important for us also to look at that. And we have to take a good, strong look at, again, the educational process that we're giving our children. What are we really teaching them? What are we really teaching them about? How do we really want them to be? And one of the things I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Dr. Amos Wilson, but Dr. Amos Wilson was very prophetic. He was open and honest in terms of talking about how we as Black parents. And what he was saying was that, okay, so here you are, you want to model your child. Now, come to find out, LeJohn is a, but then you want to model child. Yeah, I want my child to be like LeJohn, but LeJohn for educational purposes only. So Johnny is like, he's a social, allegedly. So model
Dr. Clay just buffered.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you
So
may
what
want to
Dr.
take your picture off, Dr. Clay, so we can hear you better. Let's see if that works.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay.
Turn off your
So is that
video.
working?
Let's see if that works.
Okay. I turned off the video. Is it working?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Is that working?
That's
Yes.
perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay, cool. So, what Dr. Amos Wilson is talking about is that we can't have both ways. So, you want your child to be like Little Johnny, but Little Johnny is a social psychopath. And to the point, I want to go back to something earlier you guys were talking about. That when you think about how we're introduced to certain things as young Black children, right? Our European counterparts have technologically always been more advanced than we've been. They've been introduced to things that we haven't, right? They were having TVs when we didn't have TVs. They were introduced to certain kinds of behaviors before we were ever introduced to it. So I guess it was introduced to that kind of behavior. Now we know, and it's factual because it's been proven, it is factual that
Dr. Clay. Dr. Clay, you buffering, so we're gonna let you go back out and come back in.
Yeah.
Because we can't hear what you're saying.
And hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yeah, go back out and come back in.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Sometimes it does that. I mean, he was speaking some really good truth in that, you know, the one thing that when talk about liberation, what does Black liberation look like? It means that we need to heal mentally, spiritually, and emotionally.
I got something on that, Reverend T. As a matter of fact, this from Brandon from Mass Live that I was with last summer. And this is his message about mental health awareness and how it's connected to Black liberation.
Hey, what's up with it? It's Mental Health Awareness Month, so you know we got to talk about Black mental health. First off, Black mental health is political. 1 in 4 Black adults will experience a mental health crisis. Of those, only 1 in 3 will get the care that they need. Instead, most of our folks will be overdiagnosed with a serious mental health condition and underdiagnosed for PTSD or depression. And we 10 times more likely to be incarcerated instead of hospitalized in a crisis. Fam, our folks can push through white supremacy, prisons, generational trauma, state violence, medical racism. I could keep going. That's enough to make somebody lose it. But we like that, so we still heal. We hold each other through crisis, through grief, through rage, through isolation. We survive systems that were never built for us. And our healing don't always look like yoga mats, crystals, or psychotherapy. Sometimes it look like mutual aid, refusing to call the police on each other, holding space when a loved one is going through it, not abandoning them. This Mental Health Awareness Month, check on your people. Tell the truth about what you need and reject isolation. Especially right now, we in this shit together. Mental health is not a luxury. It's part of how we get free. Black mental health is Black liberation.
Yes. yes, and yes. And you know what, Jay, I was reminded earlier today, thought about you when you were there and the what you needed to do to let that pain out. When, you know, tell the people what they asked you. You don't even have to say the names, what question they asked you, and you had to punch the punching bag.
Which question, Reverend T? It's been so many.
It said, who is it that you would want to, You want to get back at them right now because that's what scares everybody. That's what scares people, is that there may be retaliation.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're going after this brother so tough. Why? Because he's saying, you all killed my son.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So,
And you lied about it. You
yeah.
lied about it. You told a lie. You killed my son, and then you made up a story that wasn't true. You said he pointed a gun at you. Then we see a video and we don't see a gun. And so how many of these stories do we hear all the time? And so even when we talk about wrongful convictions, going to the store, people don't understand how this stuff just happens.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting in a restaurant, walking to the store, all these things, just minding your own business, traffic stop. All of these things are our reality. And when people try to downplay it or try to act like, well, it's not that bad. Well, you guys, no, we can't keep downplaying it, because of that downplaying it, making you swallow your feelings and your trauma, only going to show up somewhere else.
Right.
So,
right.
We have to.
What did you say? What did you say, Jay, when they said, what would you tell her?
What would I tell who?
The person who was hurt, who had hurt you the most with your son, who could have made a huge positive difference, and she chose not to.
Right. What do I tell her?
Remember they asked you in the retreat, and you yelled out and responded, and you hit. What was it? What did you hit? Was it a punching bag?
Yes. We was hitting a punching bag.
Yeah.
And we were saying, the people was like, F her. F her. And the more I was able to say that, it helped me release the trauma. It helped me to release some of the pain. I left there feeling lighter, because I had been walking around over a year carrying a heavy load that I didn't even realize how heavy it was until I was able to sit in it. And I didn't want to sit in it because it felt so uncomfortable to sit in it and to, and to feel those feelings, because I could push it away by doing something else, or on another project or whatever. I can push it away. And I think that's what a lot of what we do in community. We push stuff away because it's a heavy load, and we don't want to carry it, and we don't want to talk about it. And so we're just, we go to the next big thing. And so that's why we, when we're talking about Crystal, people hear it. People been there who have experienced it, but it's easier just to push it away because we feel like nobody is listening except for Crystal.
Exactly.
She believes somebody is gonna listening, and because of her beliefs and because of her faith, that's what continues to push it, and that's what continues to push us to continue to for her.
Exactly. And I'm so glad that you took the time to heal. You took the time to respond in a way, because the trauma hits us. And if you watch an animal, I had an opportunity to watch my cousin's dog some time ago now. Well, it was this year, but that dog ran out and went into a busy street. Instead of going back into the backyard like I had requested him to do. He did not. And a car hit him, but stopped, then took off because I was like right outside there. And then another car stopped, but then he took off and he ran off. And we didn't see him for days. Thought he was gone. I looked over the neighborhood and everything. And what people need to know is right after he got hit, he stood there for a minute and just shook. Just shook. He came back and he's fine. I don't know. Most animals, especially mammals, impact or trauma or something happens to the mammal, they shake. They shake it up. And they shake for long periods of time to release the trauma. We hold on to it. We don't shake. We don't punch the bag. We don't cry out. And sometimes when we do respond, when we do cry out, then it's in a way that will negatively impact us because we haven't gotten help.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't faced it. We haven't dealt with it. We hiding it under the rug. We're acting like it's not here. We're trying to move on anyway, in spite of. And that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I'm not saying don't move on. I'm saying be healed and then move forward.
Right. And also, we got to add this, Rabbitia, because it's very important. Healing is a process. It's not a one-time. It's not a one-time gig.
Right.
It's not a one-time thing. It's a process. You are continuously working on your healing. Yes, you learn new tools, you learn new ways of operating, and you continue to work on it because at any time you can go right back into that space again. But healing is understanding that I have some tools that I can also use when I get into that space. That it can help me get out of that space. I don't have to stay there.
Right. So. That's it. That's it. And so a part of our healing, a part of our liberation has to do with freedom from state violence. Freedom from the violence that is endured because of police brutality or mass incarceration, discriminatory legal systems. So when you ask why do we participate in political systems to try to eradicate some of these decisions that impede on us, that destroy our families, there's a reason why. That helps us get towards our freedom from state violence. Community-based safety models that protect rather than police Black lives. Yes, we hear you good.
Yes,
we hear you well.
Man, my technology is doing what it wants to do tonight.
Well, we can hear you.
Can you hear us? You and see you.
Oh, let me tell them. Can you hear us?
Let me turn this off. Let's see if I can hear you guys.
We can see and hear you. Oh, now you're muted.
Right.
You're
muted, Dr. Clay.
Yeah. All you gotta do is unmute. Yeah, now
okay, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys well. I'm sorry.
Beautiful.
Yeah, my technology is doing what it wants to do tonight. I had to switch computers. This is the second computer that I've had to jump on. You know how distractions come and want to keep you from getting that information.
That's right.
Now, you know what I mean? But I hate breaking into you guys' conversation, but let me try to go back and try to talk about what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
When you take a minute and think about it, right? Our forefathers, our great researchers, Dr. Amos Wilson was one of our great researchers. And he talked about the behavior that we have taken on. And he talked about that our behavior is not our behavior, it's a learned behavior that we took on as a result of when we integrated. When we integrated, we were introduced to behavior that we weren't used to because we were very disciplined. Our parents didn't play that. We couldn't get away with doing certain things without being disciplined. So, but when we integrated, we were introduced to behaviors that weren't consistent with us. And I talked about Littlejohn. How that Black parents start saying, well, I would like to model my child after Littlejohn or Little Susie. They're very intelligent. They're highly intelligent and they are prospering, right? But they're not knowing that the behavior behind them, what their behavior really is. And Dr. Amos Wilson goes on to talk about them being social psychopaths and psychopaths that you don't know about because you haven't been around that kind of behavior, right? So
Yes.
as we continue to grow, we continue to take that behavior on. And so we start taking on a disdain and a dislike for who we are as a people. Dr. William Cross and Dr. Franz Fanon, they talked about a term, and I talk about this term all the time. It is a Kiswahili word called weusi. Weusi means blackness or black in Kiswahili. But what they came up with was the term or the phrase weusiing anxiety. And that's what they called it, weusiing anxiety. And what they determined was it's not so much that we hate white people as much as we hate being Black. See, that's not the same thing. So this is for educational purposes only across all social media platforms so that you all won't think that we're out here just lambashing and just deriding people. That's not what we're doing. We're actually educating ourselves on certain types of behaviors. So when you think about that way, you're seeing anxiety. So what we developed was this kind of ideology that my Black skin is somehow a disability to me, right? Because when we go into certain places, the first thing that shows up is our Black skin. You know, it's a Black person. So what we started to grow into was a disdain and a dislike for being Black. So we no longer want to be Black. So we're going to come up with all these acronyms. We're going to come up with all of these expressions and names and adjectives for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm African American, da 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 da. So as to have some shield to hide behind of my Blackness. So our real problem, if we're going to really get into it and really get down to the real nitty gritty, is Blackness. When we think about what's going on with Crystal, we think about why they're treating her the way that they're treating her. Just take it back to that. And it's just that real simple. It makes seem like, oh no, we're not discriminating. We're not doing this and that and the other thing. Yes, you are. It is based on the complexion of her skin, right? And so here is our stumbling stone. This is our stumbling block. This is where we're at. Do we want to be Black or not? Do we want to accept ourselves as who we are or not? And real quick, and I'm gonna turn it over. But just take a minute and think about what's happening to just even look at our young, real educated Black children. They're not on code. They don't understand code. They don't understand the struggle. They don't know what we've been through. They don't even know, right? So they don't even know. So when you try to even have that conversation with them, they give us our counterparts conversation. When you even try to go into certain type establishments, that it shows up. It's right here. That's one of us. So I already know how they're going to act. I already know how they're going to behave. So we're not going to give them anything. Da, 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 da. Take another minute and just think about something that really happens to us as a people. Let's say when we go to patronize our own people, right? We say, well, Black-owned businesses, listen, we're going to patronize you, da, 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 da. But then you run into another hurdle. Because when you go into those businesses, everything is jacked up. It's, why are you charging me this astronomical amount of money for this product, and I'm here trying to patronize you? See, we're running into, see, we keep that right there. We keep running into it. And so we really haven't had real orators that can articulate how we need to move through this stumbling block. Because we're stumbling at who? Ourselves. That's what we're stumbling at. All right. Say, for example, Jay is sending out, hey, man, I'm sending out this stress call. Y'all, check this out. They over here doing this sister some kind of way. Y'all know how we talk. We keep it real. Hey, they over here doing this some kind of way, man. I need y'all to get on point, right?
Yes.
And they looking at like, I ain't got nothing to do with that right there, dude. You all the way where you at in Detroit, Lansing? Where y'all at? I ain't got nothing to do with that. When yes, you do. Because this is a determining factor of how we get over this stumbling block. Right? And how we get over it is that we got to have each other's back on a real level, not on no level, just bumping our gums, but on a real level. That's why I was sharing with you. If you keep sending me information, I'm gonna keep it moving. I got it going some everywhere. I'm dropping it everywhere. I'm talking to people about it and everything because I know that it's pivotal. It's very, very important to our plight, right? To our plight. So it's very important that we do this, that we're the only ones that can put us on. We're the only ones that can be there for each other. And you know the crazy part about it, family, listen to this. Some people take issue with you hitting on their stuff. Oh, you doing too much.
Yeah.
You on my stuff too much. What you want? Food. I'm trying to support you.
Yeah.
You know what you're looking for? I got a few I can bring with me. I can bring a crowd in. I got a few I can bring with me so that hey, you can do what it is that you're trying to do. There again, there it is. So it's opportune times like this when we can sit and have grown folk conversation. We come in here and you all gonna have grown folk conversation. Ain't no folly up in here. When we come up in here, we ain't talking about ass shaking and all of that. When we come up in here, we're talking about, hey, this is the real deal. This is what we're talking about. This is what we need to get at. And this is how we need to lay this out. This is what we're doing. We're strategizing. Yeah. We got this plan going. This is what's up. We have too few far in between these levels and kinds of conversation. That's why I do Wind Down Wednesday. I do Wind Down Wednesday so that, hey, grown folk can come in. We can talk about anything. You can come up in here and we ain't gonna get crazy. Because if it get crazy up in here, we'll be out. But we need to have grown folk conversations so we can revisit areas that we need to so that we can begin to rebuild and get back to that next level.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. Love it.
Dr. Clay, you said something and it reminded me of a poem that Trisha wrote the other day. It says, "If Crystal was a white woman," by Trisha. If Crystal was a white woman, she'd probably be free. If Crystal were a white woman, her health failure would probably be more of an emergency. If Crystal was a white woman, there would be more outrage. If Crystal were a white woman, more groups would be fighting for her to be no longer enslaved in a cage.
Yeah.
If Crystal was a white woman, we will all see the opposite of what we're seeing now with her treatment in Michigan Department of Corrections. Why does everything has to be about race? That's the question I often ask. But the question should be, why does everything that harms Black women always seem to get a pass? Instead of asking a question that makes no sense, ask yourself, why do white women get better protection and treatment? Let's wake up and all realize Black women are the most rejected, unprotected, even neglected in most societal systems they encounter. Now sit with that harsh, sad truth and understand that we are still 3/5 less of a person in the eyes of the racist white wall man.
Jay, can I say this real quick?
Yes.
But I want to draw you all's attention to something real quick, and it's real subtle. Look at what you just did. Look at what T just did. Look what Patricia, look what she just did. You just created movement.
Yeah.
See, that poem created movement. See, and this is what your intent is. You see what your intent just did with T? It just made T move to write something. See, the pen is more mightier than what? Than the sword, right?
That's right. That's right.
So she didn't put pen to paper or pencil to paper. She didn't put it there. So she just moved something. She just moved one of them blocks out the way, one of them stumbling stones out of the way. It's those words, when we hear those words that resonate, articulation, when we get that articulation to going and moving and motivated. And that was one of the things that Dr. Amos Wilson talked about too. He said, listen, having said something, he said, now I must do something. He said, so when you say something, you got to do something, unless you just bumping your gums. So this is very important, because you got momentum. You all have momentum. You're moving things. I don't care what it seems like, sound like, or whatever. I know you moving it, because I sense it. I feel it, and I'm giving it to others, and it's moving them, right? So this is what we want. Sometimes it may seem like in our circle, it's really not moving or flowing the way that I'm feeling it. But there's always a piece to the
yes
that may not be sitting in the room, but that piece may be over there somewhere. But then when you articulate, it wakes that piece up. And before you know it, that piece is right there in it, and everything is moving and flowing and doing what exactly it is supposed to be doing. And this is what's happening. So I'm encouraging you to keep doing what you're doing, because it's doing what it's designed to do. It's creating a movement. It's creating momentum, and that's what it's supposed to do. Your job is to create the momentum. And when it creates the momentum, others pick it up and do their part. It's called synergy. This is what we're using, synergy. Synergy is very important for us to understand that we are all a piece of the whole. But within that whole is everything in the parts. Everything may be in me, but I can't do everything. Everything may be in Red, but you can't do everything. Everything may be in you, Love Gangster, but you can't do everything. So we need the pieces and parts to come together to do what it is that we're supposed to be doing, right? Yeah, I may be over here in Wind Down Wednesday, but still I have obligation to the movement.
Yeah.
You feel me? See, You can't be true to what you're doing if you ain't true to nothing else.
Good.
Right? You feel me? You ain't doing nothing. Ain't no success in that. If you feel like you on top and you the one got it going on, but then you don't reach out and help others be successful, then you have no success at all. Because success is only measured by how you affect others. Right? That's what success is. How you affect others. Right? So I'm affected by y'all. So quite naturally, I'm gonna show up. You got to be being affected by it if you showed up, right? Okay. So movement, I need that. I need that in what I'm doing. Damn, she said, turning a moment into a movement. Damn, wait a minute. I need some movement. I need a moment. Wait a minute. So I got to go over here and get some of that.
Yeah.
Right? And at the same time, I'm going to give some back so we can all keep it moving. It's how we do this. And we done lost our way, man. You got people out here just doing anything, saying anything, and man, they don't care about nothing. But then it's that collective few that you got to connect with. And when you connect with them, you know that you've made that connection because it's going to keep it moving. It's going to keep it moving. It's going to make it do what it's designed to do. You know what I mean? And, I was asked a question, Queen Octavia asked me, she said, do you think J Love is going to mention Hinton, right? Do you think she's going to mention? I said, yep, knowing J Love, yes, she is. She's going to mention him. I said, yes, she's going to mention him.
Yes.
So back to that earlier, because we were talking about that as well. When we were talking about that, we're not trying to wish any harm upon anyone, but we know at the same time, right? For educational purposes only, we know at the same time what has been done to us as a people. Right? So quite naturally, when we see it, there's going to be some level of vindication for educational purposes only. There's going to be some level of feeling vindicated in some way. And we're not saying to our counterparts that we're being insensitive, but what we are saying to you is that you all have had your moments, let us have ours. Because there's time that we need to have our moments for our healing.
Right. To be honest, it's not, I'm not making light of what happened to the officer.
Correct.
Right.
Or even Mr. Hilton's son. But it's the institution of policing.
Correct.
The institutions of injustice.
Yes.
Is what the dad in his mind was fighting against.
Correct.
It's not a person. It's the institution of this whole thing.
Yes.
That make you feel it's okay to kill somebody's kid and lie about it.
Correct. No,
you know?
You're absolutely correct. Yeah, which is why we continue to say that we're definitely not being insensitive. We're in no way, you know.
We have a history, Emmett Till. I mean, we could go down the line of all these people who had this trauma.
Yes, right. That we're alive. Yes, we. This is the history that we've never been healed from the trauma.
Right.
That's right.
The trauma that
right from before to even now, Breonna Taylor.
Correct.
We could just name them all
and recognize it.
Right.
Recognize the trauma. Recognize it. I think the problem is that, I mean, what Dr. Clay said was, you know, we easily identify with others and we have empathy with others, but for the first time, we need to have empathy for ourselves. Correct. We need to feel for ourselves. We need to identify with ourselves in the trauma and all of the situations that we go through. I mean, these children wake up every day not knowing how long they will live.
Correct. Yes. And what
You
we
know,
found out through research, Reverend, and I know you know this, and I know Jake know it too, but what we found out through research is that it's not so much as what's being even genetically passed on to us traumatically, right? But it's the environment. And what we found out is that our minds are calculating. Our minds are determining what will be the best fit for survivability.
Yeah.
yeah,
Think about that. Yeah, think about
yeah,
that. So whatever we're viewing in our environment is sending back information to our brain. And what our brain is telling our body is that we have to somehow figure out how to put this together for survivability. Because it has to survive. And we know through research what they're doing now is trying to figure out what is going to be the best prototype, the best body type to survive in time frame present, right? Because we understand what's happening chemically. We understand what's happening with the energy. We understand all of that. So what they're doing is it's tinkering with body types, with symmetry and all of that, pheno and geno and all of that. They're tinkering with that to try to figure it out. But those of us that have been in these low social economic poor wealth areas have already been trained in a certain combative way for survivability. This is the only way I know how to survive. So when we see them, oh, that's just a common criminal. Oh, they just a lowlife. They're just a thug. They just this right there. But what is dictating to them? It is their environment. The environment is dictating to them to what type of behavior that they have to take on for their survivability. How are they going to survive? And it's all about survivability. How are you going to survive? Because you're going to survive. You're going to find a way to survive. If it's taking something from somebody, taking a life, or whatever it is, you're going to find some type of way for your survivability, because we all know, and we're all old enough to know, that the first law of nature is self-preservation.
preservation. That's right.
And Dr. Clay, and I feel like the reason why what Reverend Tia brought up earlier about why people don't stand up and why people don't support or whatever, it goes back to what you're saying, survivability.
Yes.
Because of we have been programmed to believe, say less, do less, less will come to you.
Yeah.
And that's how we've been trying to survive out here, not engaging. If I don't engage, if I don't do this and I don't do that, it don't even have nothing to do with that. It just has something to do with the color of your skin. You can be out here doing nothing.
Yes, absolutely.
Walking to your car, going to the grocery store or whatever, not doing anything to bother anybody, minding your own black business.
Correct.
And somebody can, because of your skin color, assume or make assumptions that you're this or that you're that or that, you know, this is happening or that's happening.
Yes.
So I agree with the survivability, because that's how we operate on survivability. That's why when Robert T, you asked that question earlier, because people believe if I don't say nothing, I'm just going to survive. I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to bring it up. We're not going to think about it.
Yes.
But we see it on 2, 4, and 7 every day. You know what I'm saying? It's on as soon as you log on. You see it. So
and the crazy part about it is that we are the most marketed people, right?
Yes.
So you have to understand, if I'm in this low social economic wealth area and they're marketing me with these Jordans, with these with these all of this, and I don't have the money, what am I going to do? Because they piqued my interest.
Yeah.
And they have whet my appetite. So what am I going to do? So the only thing left for me to do is do what? Man, come on, man, you gotta get about those, man. Come on here, Lord. So you won't know it. So we already know what's happening to us as a people, but there is no measure to prevent it because there are so many roadblocks for us. This right here to help us, right? You look at the amount of money we worth over $1 trillion, $2 trillion, whatever it is now.
Yeah.
But we can't give any of that back to our own people. But we can give it back to the white establishments. We can donate to this foundation, to that foundation. And when you look at those foundations, whether they're primarily what? White. You're not going to give.
Yes.
They're not going to let us build up our neighborhoods because they're threatened. And they're threatened by the success. And they're looking at the success as to say that, damn, we done took everything from them, and yet they rise. They keep on moving. Damn, is that a movement?
Yeah.
Is that a moment? I ain't saying nothing. I'm just. Is that a moment? Is that a movement? Hey T, is that a Red? Is that a
yeah, that's Maya Angelou too. Still all right. That's right.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
But to bring up that history, Dr. Clay, and we think about how, we had towns and cities that were vibrant, all Black, banks and stores, and people were doing well, and this cities were flourishing because we were supporting each other. We were supporting Black businesses.
Yes.
And then here we go. The other people see it and say, "Hey, who these folks think they are?" and come and just destroy it and burn it down. And I was even listening to this guy who was talking about in 1919 or 1920, where there was just an all attack on Black cities.
Oh,
and
yes.
all these Black cities were attacked, and people were burned and hung and everything because they were flourishing. So now going back to how people are operating, right? In survival mode. Don't see nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't do nothing. Because they fear when I'm flourishing, when I'm doing well, when I'm making money, when we're doing, somebody's just going to come, burn it down, tear it up, take it away.
Take it away. How many people their land was taken?
Right.
The land was just taken, and so I like what Dr. Clay, we're marketable. See, this is what we got to see.
Yeah.
They make money off of us still.
Yes.
That's what he's saying. That's marketable. They still make money off of us. Marketable.
Yes, indeed.
Look, they talked about us horribly when it came to hip hop until they could what? Market it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Marijuana was criminalized until they could what? Market it. And until they can put it on the market and who it is, but they will not give credit.
No, indeed.
To us.
And then
music until they could what? Market us.
Yes.
And so they still continue, they thrive on us.
Yes.
Until, and I believe right now people are waking up and people are coming together, and people are beginning to value their community, value the fact that we know that there are still people in our community who know how to heal.
Yes.
Who know what it takes, what we're supposed to be putting in our bodies, what we're supposed to be putting in our minds, what's supposed to be coming out of our mouth. Come on, y'all.
Yes. Yes,
There
indeed.
are still people who know how to care for children, who know how to care for families and know what's important.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so these are the things when we come together, we're supposed to come together and build unity. So what does Black liberation really look like? It looks like strengthening the
Yes.
ties among us and home.
Yes.
And I'm not saying this is not our home, because I know y'all know that I know
Yes.
that when it comes to the natives here, that's us.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That would be us. Okay. I'm not going to even play like I don't know. But when we increase the bonds, our ties to not only ourselves within the US, but ourselves abroad and back in Ghana and back in Ethiopia and back in Nigeria and back in all of those places in Lagos and in Benin, because that's when you get the culture.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We
Absolutely.
got culture. Don't say you don't have culture, because you do have culture. That's part of liberation, is cultural sovereignty.
Yes.
It's the preservation and elevation of what? Black languages, traditions, music, art, and
Yes.
storytelling.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? We stopped telling our story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped telling our story and telling somebody else's story that they lied about, put in a book, and we kept reading it, and then we believed it, and then we kept telling the story. I don't even tell a story no more. We got to write another book.
Right. Yes. But what we found out through research too, and I'm gonna let you continue on. But what we found out through research is that the farther we get away from the land, and that's why the phrase was corn heal the land. But the farther we get away from the land, the less melanin that we're carrying, the less energy that we're carrying. And what they found out is that our people that are still in the land has more of our substance than we do being apart from the land. So that's one of the things that happened to us when we, of course, moved to this place here. We lost some of our abilities, those supernatural abilities, because we're very spiritual. We have that energy. We have the ability to manifest and make things come into being and do what they're designed to do. Well, we lost some of that.
Yeah.
So what we kind of do is stigmatize our people that are still in the land and that they're spiritual. So we're stigmatizing them, say, oh, well, they the devil, they doing the devil work and da 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 da. But you take a minute and think about what's really going on, even spiritually. For example, the church. When you look at it, the church is trying to use energy. They're trying to what? Heal. They're trying to what? Manifest. To make something come into being. Well, that's what we did in the land. But what our counterparts are trying to do is get us to somehow believe that if you don't do it like this and you do it another way, it's not official. It's not original. It's not organic. But yes, it is. And so we got to get back to culture. Talk about it. Get back to culture. We know, okay, I ain't doing that, but I do this. We got that kind of sense. So we know how to do that. We know how to do things that are in order, and that it'll work accordingly. We know how to do those things. We're not that far fetched. We're not that far away from what it is that we're doing. But yeah, you just take a minute and think about we as a people until we can have these kinds of conversations. These real grown folk conversations. I know people always say, he talk about grown folk conversation. No, grown folk conversation, because it's a different kind of conversation. Because the listening is different, because you're listening to hear. You're not listening to talk, you're listening to hear. Because when you listen to hear, then you can develop thought. Because the ultimate place and space that you're trying to get to is thought. The number one thing that we've lost in this time frame, present in space, is the ability to think. People cannot think. And it sounds like, no, that's a sweeping accusation. No, it's true. People cannot think. They have been given what we call in psychology suggestive thinking. We're going to suggest to you what we need you to think. You know, and not only that, but if you go back and look at psychology, of course I teach it, and so I have to deal with it. Psychology, all of it is based off of hypnosis. Yeah. Everything that we deal with deals with hypnosis. You're trying to hypnotize someone. Not that you're trying to say, well, in 5 minutes you're going to fall out. No, no. What you are trying to do is control their thinking. Yeah. Giving them a train of thought. Notice what's happening on social media, right? You can type in something, and what it'll try to do, complete it for you. Want it? Yeah. That's suggestive thinking. It's suggesting to you what you should think and what you should say. I remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, Dr. Robert Haney, peace be upon him, he's transitioned now, our former constituent. He was ahead of his time, and he was talking about, and this was really before we were really into cell phones. He said, let me tell you something that's getting ready to happen. I said, okay. He cracked me up because he reminded me of the Nutty Professor. He was a white guy with a beard and stuff, and he was like the Nutty Professor, right? He said, well, let me tell you what's getting ready to happen, Jack. I said, okay, Doc, tell me what's getting ready to happen. He said, what's going to happen is that they're going to create this technology. And what this technology is going to do is it's going to take the thoughts out of the people's heads and put them in the mechanism. Doc, what are you talking about? He said, listen to me. He said that it's going to take all the thoughts out of the head and put them in the mechanism. And he said, guess what? The people are not going to be able to think without a device. And if it ain't happening, I go turn a flip. I'm telling you, this is what has happened. My brother's a school teacher also. My brother, he was telling me, he said, hey man, he said, listen, he said, these children today, he said, they are unbelievable. He said, man, I didn't write an essay, right? He said, man, when I read the essay, he said, man, they're writing like they're texting. He said, there's no comprehension. He said, there is no comprehension. This is what this universe is striving toward, led by those that should not be in a position to lead. And I'm gonna say this alone. Gregor Mendel already told everybody that, hey, listen, there's two types of genes, dominant one and a recessive one for educational purposes only. He said there's a dominant gene and there's a recessive gene. He said brown eyes, dark colored eyes, kinky hair, those kinds of people have dominant genes. Light eyes, funny colored eyes, straight hair, recessive gene. So if you take a moment and if you can think, this is all I'm asking you to do is think. I'm not talking to you, our family, but all I'm asking you to do is take a moment and think. If something is recessive, that means that it has no energy to regenerate, right? So that means that over a period of time, it's going to degenerate. And then there is another gene that's dominant that has the energy to repetitively continue to generate and to grow and to prosper then those are going to be the dominant people, right? So we already know through research that our European counterparts, for educational purposes only, are at 0 birth rate. So we already know that they can't regenerate. Okay? So that means that if you give someone authority that's degenerative, they're going to do what? Degenerate everything. They're going to destroy it. It's going to be what? Destructive. Here's one of the things that I call a name in here in just a moment. But one of the things that Dr. I'll call a name in a moment. But one of the things that she talked about was that our European counterparts lack the ability to think wholly. Yes. They can only think abstract. Can't put anything together. And so what she surmised was that this is why they take apart everything, because they're trying to figure out how it works.
Yeah.
And she talked about the difference between our ability to take a thing that's whole, examine it, look at it, and figure it out. You see what I'm saying? So there's a difference. So one is going to be counterproductive, while the other one is productive. Right? So now, if I know that you are productive, then I have to put in place a system, which is what the great Love Doctor said, the gangster said, the system. So they know that if they build a system is hard to destroy. Because that's what moving components in parts. So it's hard to destroy it. So you can remove the top person from a system and plug someone else in, and it still work the same. See, they know that. That's why it's instituted. Because funny thing, I learned this, you all, in economics. When I was in school, I learned this in economics. The system is set up so that, check this out, you can take the CEO off of Wall Street and plug him into the White House. And he'd be the president, or she'd be the president. Check this out. This is how they got the system designed. That you can take Wall Street, put him or her in the White House, and they can run the country. Not only that, they also designed it too so that the CEOs of the commerce, the bankers, could also move into Wall Street, up through Wall Street, into the White House. They got the system so intact that you have to go through so much to tear it up that it's virtually impossible.
Yeah.
Right? So they got all of this working, and here we're sitting here trying to, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? And it goes back to something Reverend Tia was talking about earlier. You got to develop your own.
Yeah.
It's the only way. It's the only way, because you're not going to destroy that system.
Right.
That thing is well put together. Right? That thing is well put together. If we're gonna be open and honest about it, that thing is put together. That thing make the strongest bow down.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So the only way to get our strong ones back to a place of success is to do what again? Develop our own.
Yeah.
That's it. Sovereignty.
Yeah.
That's it.
That is so good. Dr. Clay, we're gonna have to finish this again. We're gonna have to add a part 2, because we got some more information that we got to get out to the people.
Okay.
I mean, I heard so much tonight that I am so excited. So I just want to say that at the core,
Yes.
Black liberation
Yes.
looks like thriving.
Yeah.
Not just surviving.
Uh-huh.
And creating a world where Black people live in safety, joy, and power.
Mm.
Because that's our real life. That's the way we're supposed to live.
Mm.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Jay. I'm so glad we had this conversation
I
tonight.
know. So Dr. Clay, we're going to come back next week with part 2.
Yeah,
So,
hey, you know, Jay, you already know, girl. Hey, all it takes is a list. Drop a little text or a phone call or something. You know, I'm there.
all right.
I love this. I need to say this. I genuinely love this. I love this because it's real, right? It's real. It's tangible. You can touch it. You can communicate with it. It's real, and don't y'all lose that. Don't lose it, man. Don't lose it. Yeah, don't lose it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Dr. Clay. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Yes.
And before we leave out, I just want to remind everybody to continue to support Crystal. And also, we gave you guys a call to action. And so here's the call to action. We need you to contact the governor's office. She's the main person who can help us change this situation with Crystal, just like that. So the email or letter to Gretchen.Whitmore@michigan.gov or mail to the Office of Governor, State of Michigan, George W. Romney, ROMENY Building, 111 South Capitol Avenue, Lansing, Michigan, 48909. So, and also, we want you guys to support the Ypsilanti Juneteenth celebration. There's going to be a Friday event, and we're not disclosing that yet, but we will let you know as soon as that's together. But on Saturday, June the 21st, from 11 to 8 p.m., you're going to have Lady Sunshine and the X Band and other amazing artists. And on that Sunday, we're going to have Fred Hammond and more amazing artists. And so let me give you this video by Fred.
Ypsilanti, this is your man, Uncle Fred. Fred Hammond is in the building. Listen, I'm on the way. I'm coming. That's right. We're on the way. Juneteenth weekend. We showing up. We're going to show on out. So come on out and hang out with your mans and them and many other people that's going to be there. And we just going to have an amazing time. Looking forward to coming back to the crib. That's right, because you know y'all were just up the road. I used to hang out in Ypsilanti a little bit here and there. And, but listen, I look forward to seeing you all. Let's have a great time. Peace.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
Yeah, so see you soon. Make sure you save the date, June the 21st, 22nd, June the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, that whole weekend. Join us.
Ypsilanti.
Oop, didn't mean to play that again. So yes.
Hey, Jay.
Yes.
Do you have any like flyers, little cards or anything? I'm gonna
I don't have anything, but I can get you some.
Yeah, we'll send.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll send you some.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be.
You're gonna come up. You're gonna come up. You're gonna come up to the north. You're gonna come north.
I might, I might try. I'm from Illinois. I'm one of them Illinois boys. So down the street. I was thinking about. I was looking at that date. I'm gonna try to look around and see maybe master teacher, and I might be able to get there, but I'll definitely check. But look,
Okay.
if you can get something to me, I'm gonna be June the 6th through the 8th. I'm gonna be in down in Charleston, down in a flat area down there, and I want to wake people up to what's going on too, because the more people that you get involved, then the more notoriety, the easier it is to get done what you need to get done. So I would love to make sure that I get that information out down there as well. But also, let me know the main topic that we're going to be dealing with next week. So I'll be on top of that. And I'll make sure that I have my technology working right. Someone's in here messing with the computer. That's what happened. Someone's in here messing with the computer.
Yeah, no worries. I know you're gonna be tight next week.
Yes, man.
Yeah, so this was a great conversation just for us to kick it off. And
yes,
we're not here to force our opinions on anybody. We're just here to get you to think.
Absolutely.
And have a conversation. Like
Yeah.
you can just take this information and just have a conversation with your loved ones, your family. And the conversations leads to action. But you first got to start having a conversation. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you, Dr. Clay, for jumping on with us. Thank you, Reverend Tia. And we'll be back. That's Friday.
Yes.
For turning a moment into a movement. Much love, everybody.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Oh Lord, just let it shine. This light of mine, this light of mine. Oh Lord, would you please just let it shine. Take the drama out of my life. Oh Lord, every night the pain ain't right. I wake up at night, I never sleep. 26, 10, and 7, that's just me. Every day I need a little seed. I need a little fresh air, man, I need to breathe. All I know is trauma, all I know is tickets. All I know is no visit. All I know is a mission to get straight up out of prison. Lord have mercy for it. Lord have mercy on my people. Preacher Mary Washington and all my real. Lord have mercy with my people. I pray to God, we really need you. When I was down bad, when things weren't going right, every time I prayed at night, I put my hands up in my face. I said, Lord have mercy, little light of mine. Lord God, please let it shine. It's the drama that I live in my life. I swear to God, I was a bad guy every night. 10 toes down, salute. Everybody suffering, everybody who trying to make a way. Everybody looking for the sky, everybody looking for that piece of pie. In a law library, I know what that feel like. Hoping that somebody get active and involved in your situation. Man, pop your collar and pray. Cause Lord have mercy on my soul. And they make bad guy father get out soon. And the rest of those brothers who be mobbing to child each morning. Oh man, I ain't going to this afternoon. Man, I'ma miss dinner today. I got a couple noodles. Hey, you know what that feel like? Yeah, you know what it is. And if you a victim of a wrongful conviction, suffered and served by Ken Worthy, then I know that you know what that pain feel like. And your mama know what that pain feel like. Your father know what that pain feel like. With that light, let that little shine. Let that light shine, a little light of mine. Bad guy, Doughboy Week, all these great people in this great world of ours. 10 toes down, salute. I appreciate you, bad guy. I appreciate you, we. I appreciate the tech. I appreciate everybody in the studio. We gonna pop off that LV, ooh-wee, cause that's what they be liking to see. But I hope you hear the missing when you see me fresh.
Salute.
You have the power to save a life. Have you ever heard of someone having mold growing out of their ears while locked in a prison cell? Crystal Clark is incarcerated at Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Michigan, and she's fighting for her life. She's tested positive for mold in her lungs. Mold is growing from her ears, and she's been diagnosed with MRSA, a life-threatening infection. The 3 toxic molds found inside Women's Huron Valley in Ypsilanti, Michigan: Ochrocones, Cladosporium, and Cotomium. Despite all this, the Michigan Department of Corrections is ignoring her condition and violating their own medical policies. You have the power to save a life. Share this video. Demand justice for Crystal Clark. Call to action, now. Write a letter, send an email, or call the governor to support Crystal's request for a medical clemency. Free Crystal Clark.